Okay, so once you've walked into lab, you'll want to grab some gloves that are on your left before you get situated. There are also some gloves on the other side of the lab room where I'm pointing. You're gonna want to first grab the tools out of the drawer. You'll find the weigh bolts and scoop tools in that first drawer at the desk, and then you will see the weigh stations on the desk and the boxes that we are currently working on above that counter. Underneath the drawer, you will find boxes that hold weigh plates and the associated lids with them in case you run out. At first, you're going to want to make sure that your well plates are properly labeled. So right now we're working on South Raleigh Lake. We put Alaska Stickleback 2023 on there. That's the year we're working on, the lake and the associated sample microtubes that are in this plate. You're going to want to go ahead and zero out the scale before you begin, just so that we'll go processing while we are weighing the sample. Okay, you're going to want to now grab two weigh bolts from the drawer, your well plate that you are currently working on, and another weigh bolt full of tin foils that we'll put the sample in once it's been tiered. You'll also want to grab your forceps and two small scoops as shown in the video. Scoop 1 and scoop 2. You'll also want to have your mortar and pestle. This is what you'll use to crush the sample. Okay. So you're going to grab the sample out of the microtubule from the box and put it into the first weigh bolt. At this time, you'll want to look whether or not the sample has a spine or not and note it down in the spreadsheet. Okay, once you've noted whether the spine is included or not included, you'll take your sample and you'll crush it in the mortar and pestle. This is what will be used for the sample when we're weighing in the scale. So you're going to go ahead and crush. It should look like a yellow powder. From there, you're going to transfer that yellow powder from the mortar and pestle into that first weigh bolt. This will just make it easier to scoop once we transfer it into the scale. You want to make sure you get everything. Okay, so here we can see the powder. In the meantime, while we put that to the side, you're going to take your second weigh bolt and put a tin foil in it. Once you've done that and the scale has been zeroed out like we did previously, you'll put the empty weigh bolt and tin foil into the scale and tire it. We're just going to wait for it to calibrate and then tire. Okay, now that it's turned to 0, we're gonna take the sample and put it into the empty weigh bolt and tin foil. You're gonna take that smaller oval shaped scoop, or whichever one works best for you, whichever one's easier to scoop out the sample, and place it into the tin in the weigh bolt. Make sure that it's in the tin, and we're gonna want to measure between 0 and 0.0007 grams. Okay, we're just gonna let the scale calibrate for a bit and get that final stable reading. Okay, so once you've gone ahead and recorded the weight that we saw for the sample in the spreadsheet in its appropriate slot, you're going to want to grab the sample out of the scale, and we're going to take that foil, fold it, and place it into the appropriate well that matches that sample according to the spreadsheet. Sorry, my hand is blocking you here. But typically I will take the forceps and just fold the tin over in half. Be careful because it does rip easily. And then I will roll it up, roll it some more in my hands. As you can see here, very small ball, and then put it into the appropriate well plate. Just be careful with this too because the well plates are very small and we want to keep the samples organized. Okay. So here, put it in the appropriate well plate, as we can see. Okay. Once you've done this, then you're going to take the remainder of the sample that was not weighed and left in that first well plate and put it back into the appropriate microtubule that the sample was originally in. Okay. Once you've done that, you want to make sure that the well plate is fully secure, just so no, samples go flying. They're very easy to like go all over the place. So what we're gonna do is take a piece of tape and wrap it around the well plate. That's just the rubber cover to make sure that the plate is secured. Put that back on there, put the plate cover back on there, and put a piece of tape around it to secure it in between lab sessions. And when fully ready to ship. Okay, so we're gonna secure it right there. This tape is a little sticky on the gloves. There may be other tapes around. You would just have to look for that. And then put them with the rest of the sample plates. If they're ready to ship, you can label it as such. If not, put it where you deem appropriate for the next lab session. Alright, so the last step would be to take that 70% alcohol bottle and a Kimtech wipe to go ahead and clean the tools that you just used. That would be the mortar and pestle, the weigh boats, the forceps, and the scoops. This is just to prevent cross-contamination and keep each sample organized. If you run out of 70% alcohol, there should be a clear container with a blue cover on the top shelf to the right of the desk that you're currently working on. Once you're done with this, you can go ahead and take the sample that you just finished working on, the microtubule, and put it back into the box. If you still have more samples to go, you would just restart on the next sample and keep going. If not, place the sample back into the box and return it to the counter that it was originally on. Okay, I hope this video was useful to you, and have a great time in lab.